Scott Holiday here, and this is your final reminder to sign up for the far too big year-long You Pick'em, where you try to figure out every event in the world of professional wrestling that will take place between the Raw after WrestleMania all the way through to WrestleMania 40. So sign up right now in the links down below, like right now, because once WrestleMania starts, no more will be accepted. So sign up right now. Right now. Okay? Then now, let's plug in. This very Sunday, April 2nd, at the Havre de Grace, Maryland State Theater, it is Limelight 15. There you will see the American Hammer, Matt Quay, go one-on-one with Fred Yeha. Plus, in a 4-on-3 handicap match, Milk Chocolate teams with the Slime Balls to take on the Rep. Also in one-on-one action, it is E.N. Bush versus Miles Hawkins. Plus, Miami Mike Walker takes on Richard King. Plus, see the contract signing between Aaron Ash and Griffin McCoy. And then in our main event, the new tag team champions CMD take on The Board. We are on the road to the best of the best, May 20th in Havre de Grace. So please join us for Limelight 15, April 2nd at the State Theater. The doors open at 2, the bell rings at 3, and that'll have you plenty of time to get home for WrestleMania. Today on the Soapbox, I want to invite you to play a game with me. This is a game I've played with my friends for years when WrestleMania season comes along, and that is the WrestleMania game. Your challenge is you have to book the best WrestleMania using the canon of existing WrestleMania matches. Go through all the past WrestleManias and pick out your favorites to create the perfect WrestleMania. Now you can pick whatever matches you want. You can pick from the same WrestleMania more than once. You can just present WrestleMania, X8 if that's your favorite. Just like, yeah, this is the perfect WrestleMania. This is what I present. You can do that. I don't recommend that, but you can. But there are a few restrictions. One, nobody can wrestle more than once. I know Brett wrestled at WrestleMania twice, and Brian wrestled at WrestleMania twice, and a couple other people, but not at your WrestleMania. Everybody gets one match, okay? Likewise, no title can be defended more than once. There's only one Intercontinental Champion, so you can't have a bunch of Intercontinental Championship matches. Every title happens just once, so choose wisely. Same way, your gimmick matches. The gimmick match can only appear once, because if you use the same gimmick match over and over again in the same pay-per-view, then your MyGM score is going to go down in WWE 2K. So, you can only choose one. So if you choose Razor versus Shawn in a ladder match, no money in the bank for you. Be careful. Fourth, WrestleMania is about celebrities. You must have at least one celebrity match at your WrestleMania. And finally, and this is where it gets hard, your WrestleMania bell to bell can only run 3 hours. Now, the reason 3 hours was the number that we came up with is they have the length of matches listed online from bell to bell. If you have 3 hours of wrestling, you have another 2 hours of backstage segments and like entrances and exits and all that stuff. If you have 3 hours of wrestling, you have a 5-hour WrestleMania. And you are capped at a 5-hour WrestleMania. Yeah, you're not having any like 9-hour WrestleManias or 2 nights events. No, you get 1 night to book the perfect WrestleMania with 3 hours of wrestling. That is the challenge, and I'm going to present mine to you right now. So let's go with the perfect WrestleMania. All right, I'm going to be honest. I just looked over my list, and now I'm feeling worried about it. I worked on this for a long time, and then I had some more thoughts, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose a lot of respect from a lot of people for this list. But I'm going to stick with it So here we go. First off, pre-show doesn't count towards any of the totals. I just want to mention this because it's one of my favorite matches. My pre-show match is Cesaro versus Drew Gulak at the COVID WrestleMania. I loved that match. I remember I watched it and then they went back to doing like pre-show stuff, so I just watched it again. So that's my pre-show match. Doesn't factor into anything, but I still wanted to mention it. The first match of WrestleMania, the opening match, is going to be for the US title, and it's going to be Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. Why? Well, Jericho's always been upset that this match went on second at WrestleMania, so let's put it on first. I mean, there's going to be a pre-show match, so this actually will be second. But still, I think this match deserved to go on first, have a nice spotlight on it. You know, the celebration of friendship, destruction. It was my favorite storyline that year going on in the WWE. And I also think it's the best use of the US title you can have at a WrestleMania. I know some people really like Sheamus versus Riddle, but to me, this is the best US title match in WrestleMania history. So we're going to start off strong with Y2J versus Kevin Owens. Then we are going to travel way back in time to the first WrestleMania, and we are going to see a $15,000 body slam challenge as Big John Studd takes on the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. Really felt like you had to have Andre the Giant on the card. And I also wanted some match that represented the older version of the WWF, the early years of WrestleMania. And I'm going to be honest, this is way more modern than I thought I'd go. But I went really modern with most of my matches. So that's why I had to go with this one. And I think the Body Slam Challenge is fun. And this match is under 6 minutes. Because some of this other stuff's going to get long. Okay, this is where I lose you. I'm pretty sure there was just a cut right here. Because I really thought about changing this. But I love this match. And I really want to have it on my card. So I'm going to stick with it. Not just because it's under 5 minutes and I need some shorter matches, but I'm sticking with it. Match 3 is for the Intercontinental Championship, and it is The Rock versus Ken Shamrock. Now, I know that means I lose Savage versus Steamboat. And I think that's a problem. On top of that, since The Rock's in this match, that means I lose Rock Austin, Rock Hogan, and Rock Cena as match choices. But I think I'm okay with that. I am. I'm okay with that. But I also, because Shamrock's in this, I lose Blood from a Stone. I lose Brett versus Austin because Shamrock was the referee. And that sucks. But I'm sticking to it. Rock versus Shamrock is one of like the first matches I really remember leaving an impact in my mind. I love the finish where Rock cheats with brass knuckles and puts them in Shamrock's tights. And Shamrock kicks out and goes on to win the match. But then The Rock frames Ken Shamrock and gets him disqualified so he doesn't win the Intercontinental title. So Ken Shamrock kills The Rock to the point where he leaves with the IC title on a stretcher. And he's like, yay. It's one of my favorite moments. It's so funny to me. So yeah, that's my choice. Thank you for still watching, because I assumed you would have either exited out of this video or you're just now finishing up a mean comment. In any case, bye if that's you. But I have more matches, so let's continue on with my list here. Next, I think I would go with the Firefly Funhouse match between Cena and Wyatt. I know that's a bit of a strange choice, but it's really hard to include John Cena at WrestleMania without losing your world title match. because he mostly fought in world title matches. I guess I could have had him fight Rusev, but I really like the Firefly Funhouse match. I think it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good stuff in it, and I like all the insidey jokes of it. It's really fun. So yeah, Firefly Funhouse. Then, we're going to have a hardcore title match. It is a triple threat match between Raven, Kane, and The Big Show. I love this match. This is easily my favorite hardcore title match of all time. Sorry, Al Snow going into the Mississippi River. That's number 2. But I love this match. It almost ruins WrestleMania. And there's a brief moment, I'm sure I probably can't even find a shot of it, but there's a moment where they're fighting backstage and a rat clearly runs by, and for some reason I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. So I'm going to go with the hardcore triple threat match between Raven, Kane, and Big Show. Raven getting a big WrestleMania match. I'm glad that happened. I really am. So now, at this point, I realize that very little has happened in the ring, and that's going to continue because my next match is Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl. Again, another one of my favorite matches that doesn't really resemble a wrestling match, but to me, WrestleMania is required to have Roddy Piper. And this showing is just so much fun. It is that unhinged, rowdy, Roddy energy. And you put that against Goldust. It is so good. Roddy Piper gets hit by a car. This is great. So we're going to have to cut back to it throughout the rest of these matches. On top of that, I don't have an exact time for Piper Goldust, so I could be disqualified. I think it's around 15 minutes, the whole thing. And if that is true, that brings me to a grand total of 2 hours and 55 minutes. So unless it's 20 minutes, I'm disqualified if it's over 20. But I think I'm safe. And I really want to include this, so I'm including it. So why haven't we been in the ring this whole time? Well, we have to set up the ring for my celebrity match, which is, of course, Bart Gunn versus Butterbean in a Brawl for All match. I want you to understand, I legitimately love this match. It is insane. I remember watching it live, legitimately believing that Bart Gunn was going to knock out Butterbean. And then, a few seconds later, I found out how wrong I am. Also, I remember watching this with my family, and my dad and my uncle applauded when Gorilla Monsoon was announced as one of the judges. It's actually Gorilla Monsoon's last involvement at WrestleMania, is the Brawl for All. And what's WrestleMania without the Gorilla? So I had to include it for that reason. The fact that it's only 35 seconds long, yeah, that's a factor. That's a factor. I may have swapped this out for Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville if I had time to spare, but I don't. And I do really love this match. So yeah, it's happening. This is my list. So another problem I have with this list is one of the biggest draws in the history of WrestleMania is Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan only had a few matches that were not for the world title. So I didn't want to burn a world title match on one of the Hulk Hogan matches. Like, Hulk Hogan was the biggest draw, but I don't think Hogan versus King Kong Bundy really set the world on fire in terms of work ethic. So we go to WrestleMania 19 for Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon. Piper doesn't actually wrestle in this match. though he does appear. He's not actually in the match. This is what happens after he beats up Goldust, is he then goes in and interferes in this match. He's already there because he had the Goldust match. It's a bigger heel turn because we just cheered him defeating and stripping Goldust. Now he's gonna turn heel. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. This match is fun. The shot of Vince McMahon covered in blood, looking over the ring apron, is one of my favorite shots they've ever pulled off. So I have to have a Hogan match, and I went with Vince versus Hogan, and I did not double book Roddy Piper. I made the rules, so you can't tell me I'm breaking them. They're my rules. Now we gotta have the tag team titles. I think the tag team titles is pretty obvious what you should go with, because there's too many WrestleManias where they're like throwaway matches. Like, a lot of them are like four corners matches. There's a couple matches at WrestleMania for the tag titles that, like, I had to be reminded took place, but they did. So I have to go with TLC 2, Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys. It's the easy way to pick. There's just mayhem. It's super fun. Lita, Spike, and Rhino get involved. They get their WrestleMania paychecks as well. So I went with TLC. Which brings us to the final two matches here. And I fought with myself over and over about this, because as stubborn as I was about Rock Shamrock, there was another match that I was also really stubborn about that I wanted to include. And that's Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. That is one of my favorite matches. I love the finish. I love the fact that it's headlocks for like the first couple minutes of that. But in the end, that cost me too much to include that match. So, to finish this out, we get, at WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker 1. You get the first Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker match. The one that did not main event WrestleMania. And it will not be main eventing this one either. Because my main event for the world title is Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19. WrestleMania 19 is my favorite WrestleMania. It truly is. And I love the Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar match. Not just for the shooting star press, but it helps. It certainly is a memorable moment. It's a WrestleMania moment. But you gotta have Shawn versus Taker. It is probably the best match in the history of WrestleMania. And we need a pure wrestling match in the chaos that I've booked, because I had like a hardcore match, a TLC match, a Hollywood backlot brawl, a brawl for all kind of in a row. So we need that straight up just wrestling match of pure wrestling art, and that will be Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, and then Brock versus Angle. And in our main event for the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship, it is Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey. Yes, I fully believe that this should be the main event. I think this match had great historical precedence, and I think it's a great match with a great build. I think these three women worked very hard and deserved to main event WrestleMania on a Sunday night, not a Monday morning. I really love this match, but I think a big reason that I love this match is I actually did not watch this match live. I watched it the next day because I was sleepies. And I think everybody in attendance was sleepies. And I think this little correction will greatly improve the quality of what's already a really good match. And I think this is the perfect way to close out my Ultra WrestleMania. So there it is. like I said, I believe, because I couldn't find a real time for the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, that brings me to a total time of 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 37 seconds. And I'll be honest with you, I wrote this concept for this video because I needed a quick video I could crank out this week. And I spent hours working on this, just switching matches, trying to make sure I had it exactly the way that I wanted. It's interesting that I'm very much in the middle of WrestleManias. Like, it's all late teens for the most part, and like early 20s. Like, did I have anything from the 30s? I don't think, no, I didn't. I did in the pre-show. The other thing that like really bothers me about my list is I have booked my perfect WrestleMania without Daniel Bryan, Triple H, CM Punk, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, or the Macho Man Randy Savage. That time limit's gonna kill you. I know you absolutely hate my list, and that's fine. I love it, and it's for me. But I challenge you now. What is your ultimate WrestleMania? You have to follow the same guidelines. Leave it in the comments down below, and maybe next week that's what we'll do. I'll just read other people's lists and be shamed at how poorly I put together my ultimate WrestleMania. Or maybe you guys love it. Maybe I'm just being a negative Nelly. Let me know in the comments down below. And if I haven't scared you off, please subscribe right here to +2 Wrestling, and you'll get a notification next time I put up one of these videos. And I hope you have a great day.